Hey, how's it going, everyone? I wanted to talk a little bit about the process I've been going through with writing the music for Ghost Knight. In my first video, I mentioned that solo development was kind of like an RPG balance class that you put a skill point into every single skill evenly. Having a background in music definitely helped me out. I used to study music for a few years back in college. It's been maybe a year since I've written anything new, so I was a bit rusty when I sat down at a blank canvas on the DAW. It helped me out at first to write down the characteristics I wanted the music to have, like sort of goals. Some of the qualities I wanted was something more spooky, medieval, not very serious, sad at moments, something mysterious, and it should be able to loop in on itself and hopefully have a memorable melody. For the instrumentation, I wanted something that was more orchestral but not overly realistic, and I wanted to use some more spooky instruments like the harpsichord and the theremin, and maybe some synths that have a vibrato that have like that woo spooky sound to it. First, I started with something kind of low stakes. I needed some music for this traveling witch character that acts as a vendor from level to level. Since she's a traveling witch, I wanted her to have a different instrumentation than the rest of the levels. Since the rest of the levels were more orchestral, I decided to go with acoustic guitar for this theme. Here's a small clip of the theme I came up with. After going through the process of writing that particular piece, I felt a little bit more comfortable and I felt a little bit less rusty, so I decided to move on to the main theme. I came up with this motif for Ghost Knight. I felt that it has this sad yet spooky quality to it. Trying out several things, it felt like it was a pretty versatile motif that I was able to use in many different scenarios. Just based on the instrumentation, it could have a goofy quality, like this. Or you can use it during a fast-paced action part. Here's a little bit of the main theme that I call a dark tale. Another piece I needed is something that was more lower stakes, like for the tutorial section. In this piece, I used the Ghost Knight motif in a goofier way by using like pizzicato strings and marimba. In the tutorial section, you come across this character where you get your powers from. His name is Hadrig the Betrayed. He appears to you as a ghost that has been, obviously, betrayed by someone. And so I wanted the mood to be a bit more sad and somber. Here's a little bit of Hadrig's theme. also needed 2 pieces of action music. One for when you first start fighting the undead in the graveyard, as they're all coming back. The second one would be during a collapsing platform sequence. Here's a little bit of the first one. And the second one. And finally, for the boss of this level is the Nameless Knight. And the way you kind of maneuver around the battlefield, it kind of felt like a bit of a dance to me. So I decided to go with something in 3/4, sort of like a waltz. It's definitely been a journey getting back into composing and getting refamiliarized with FL Studio and all the different sample libraries that were around, and going back over all the theory that I've learned and forgotten and relearned. I definitely felt like I was putting a lot of pressure on myself specifically for this demo and writing the best music I possibly could. And it was very frustrating, specifically on those days when you just couldn't get it right, where you just make something and then you put it in the game and it just is not fitting the mood and it just doesn't feel right. And then you just look at yourself in the mirror and go, oh, they're all gonna laugh at you. But then eventually you just kind of power through like a Dark Souls boss and you try to do the best you can. And I really hope you like what you hear, and I'm gonna be putting out the full versions of each piece probably around the time that the demo comes out. Anyway, thanks for checking out my work. And have a good one. That was a fake ending. Aha! I bet you didn't know there was another ending to this. If you guys are looking to write your own music, there's a lot of resources on YouTube that has helped me a lot over the past few years. One has been Alex Mukala. He has a lot of really good tutorials on orchestration and FL Studio and production in general that I learned quite a bit from. I love learning about music theory, and one of the channels that I often went to was 8-Bit Music Theory. He's got a lot of really great videos. He does a really good job breaking things down in the context of video game music. Another channel I often watch is Rick Beato and Guy Mitchell Moore. Michael Moore? Michelle Moore. This guy's channel is so good for learning about music theory in a very entertaining way. I also really like 12-Tone. All these channels are great resources if you're looking to write your own music. And for those interested, I'm going to put in the description the different sample libraries I was using. A lot of this is pretty expensive, and I would recommend that you choose wisely. I've collected quite a few of them over the course of maybe a decade. One thing I like just as much as a Steam sale is definitely a sale for audio sample libraries. And finally, I know I've gotten a lot of requests to do some videos about art stuff, and I hear you. And I will definitely get around to it. It's just not what I have been currently working on. and I would need to be working on it for efficiency's sake to capture the work. I can't just be making the video for the sake of making the video and not working on the game. So as soon as I'm working on something that involves the process of creating the level art from scratch, I will capture that and I will post that. Until then, bye. Thanks for watching the video. Yeah. Good stuff. You still here, huh? Man, I just don't know about this whole ending thing. I really don't like ending videos.